I can do better than that. Hey there, Jooma fans. Tim Davis here. I'm a Jooma fan too. Today, I'm not coming to you from Krasnodar. But you know who is from Krasnodar? Eugene of NorrNext's Joomla extensions. About a year ago, Eugene contacted me and asked me if I would check out and review and demonstrate his NorrNext's competitions Joomla extension. It's an extension for putting contests on your site, and I did check it out, but it's taken me almost a year to do this video. I'll tell you why. There's some good reasons, and some Tim reasons. Well, let's head on over to the computer and check it out. Now, as I said, it was almost a year ago when I said that I would do this review and demonstration of Nor competition. I think I called it NorrNext's competition in the intro. And the reason that it's taken so long is, first of all, I'm not a very good manager of my time. And actually, in the last 7 months, I've been doing the Joomla thing full time. So there's been a bit of transition from my previous job and role to being self-employed. But also, when I first went to use the extension, I found it kind of confusing because some of the terms, they were English terms, but they didn't really make sense to me in the context of contests. And so I got in touch with Eugene and told him that there was some adjusting that needed to happen for the language file for English, and helped out with that translation. And there was some back and forth and delays, mostly on my part as well, again. But then we did get 99.9% of the English translation stuff all worked out, so that a native English speaker, at least here I am in the left coast of Canada, North America, can understand what to enter in different places. So I just wanted to say that during that time, as I was learning to use the software, and I had a couple of questions, and then also with the whole English thing, the support from NorrNext was excellent and very quick, and they were more than willing to be helpful. Not only because I was going to be doing this tutorial, I'm sure, but just how quick they got back on some of my questions and the things that I was wondering. So that was really good. So here we are almost a year later, and I'm getting around to finally doing this. So the first thing that I want to show you is the first contest that I made using NorrNext's competition. And by the way, full disclosure, Eugene and NorrNext gave me a 1 year, coincidentally, so I'm getting this done, 1 year pro membership to download Nor competition. And also, besides that 1 year, they also gave me a profile in the affiliate program that they have, which is open to anybody who applies. So if you're going to get this extension, just want you to know that as I'm reviewing it, I've got a free copy to review. And if you're going to buy it through the link that I have in the description below. It won't cost you anything more, and it'll help support this channel. So there you go. I think that's probably all the stuff I need to disclose, although I'm not saying that there's stuff that I'm not disclosing. That's just the stuff I remember. Okay, as we take a look at this cybersalt.com site, this is the new site, the commercial site for my business. And what I was doing was rebranding back probably, I believe it was around end of October in November. And so what I did was I created a contest showing samples of logos, actually fonts with a logo that I was going to use. And then I actually took, with the web page up, I actually took it on a tablet to a Chamber of Commerce meeting. And I asked people, would you just look, which font do you think is the best? And I had them vote, or I'd put in the vote for them, whichever one they told. And it worked out really well. So I just want to show you, I've reactivated that contest. And so it does say voting is closed because it's closed, but I reactivated the end date. And you can see that I had a number, and I've just reactivated some. We've got 3, 6, 7, 8 different versions of fonts that I was wondering which would be the best ones to go with for my business. And you'll actually see that the logo itself, I went with something else right at the end. But I did have them voting and helping me pick the fonts. And it was a really great extension to just set this up. I'm sure that there are some photo gallery extensions that you could set up pictures and you could ask people to vote, but this is geared for contests, and I really like that. I like the features that come with it for the contests. And I think what I'm going to do now is, having just shown you this demonstration of this logo contest or a font contest that I had. I'm just going to create a basic contest here for you, and we'll just take a look at the extension and some of the things you'll find after you install it. So we're going to go over to my basicjoomla.com website, and I already have Nor Competition installed, and so we're going to find it under Components and Nor Competition, and we'll just click on there. And we're going to get to this control panel, which has really nice, easy, on the eyes icons. And the first thing that I would suggest after you install Nor Competition is head up to the top right corner to Options and set your default global options, or at least review them, because these will be coming into play for all of your contests. As you create contests, you're going to either go with these basic settings, as usual with many other Joomla extensions, having the global settings, or you're going to override them. And of course, we know the fastest way to create something in Joomla is to have your global settings the most common that you're going to use. And then you only have to override them for the very unique things that you're doing. So here we see that we've got lots of options, and I'm not going to go through all of these options. NorrNext's has a very thorough video on their site that will take you through each of these different fields and setting up contests. But I will just point out here that there's plenty of things. There's these, let's just check out here, the General tab. You've got some really neat things like you set up your date format, the Uploads folder. This I really like, the Share button. Specify the resources that you want to use. And we got them all in there, vk.com, Facebook, Twitter, Google, Pinterest. And you can just select what you want to be showing as a default on your contest. All right, also your Open Graph image. And this is just for all of your contest page, not necessarily the individual contests themselves. Your Twitter username, you just fill out all of that stuff. A lot of the stuff you will be familiar from other Joomla extensions and from Joomla itself. Next, we go look at the contest tabs, and you can just basically, it's very thoroughly set up. You know, sometimes you get an extension and you mouse over the field title or the title for a row, and it doesn't give you any hints. These all have hints as you're going down. So here's your filtering options, your contest display options. You want to show the image or hide the contest image, all sorts of things. Your start date, your end date, you want to show it or not. Lots of things there. The contest, the same thing. Entry count, specify the entry count that a contestant can submit for one contest. So that's where you would set that. If you're going to have lots of contests where people can enter lots of things, then you want to change that number. Here's a really cool thing, additional photos. If you say yes here, people in contests of photo and video, they can enter more than one thing, and they end up with a gallery in with their entries. So that's pretty cool. The default, if you allow submission of entry forms for unregistered users, you just pick a user on Joomla that will be that. And so maybe you create a user called Anonymous. If you want to use CAPTCHA, lots of options here. And this is the great thing about this, but like I said, this extension is set up for contests. So you don't have to monkey around with something else and try to make it do something that's not made for. This is made for contests. So we see these tabs. We can set up the default options for entries, whether the contest start timer is shown, voting, so for instance, in a contest, you can click on vote and it will show you the score right there. I turned that off for my font contest because I didn't want people to look and say, oh, well, this has the most votes, so I think that's probably the best. I wanted them to make up their own minds. You can show how many entries there are in the contest. You can show or hide the name of the person who has put an entry in. Lots of things. Again, filtering options. Limit your options to these numbers, 369. For instance, over here we're just showing, let's see, 6 to a page here. I think I had this. Yeah, so we have 6 to a page, and we can click down here and see 2. The next ones. So basically, that is where you're changing that. Pagination, lots of things. Entry. The things that apply for a contest entry, unless they're changed, overrided. Categories. Now, categories is interesting because you can create categories of contests. So you might have nature contests. You might have, contest to do with colors, which is the basic one that I'm going to set up here, or a sample one. So this is for the categories list view. You're going to create a menu link to see different categories of contests. If you're having a contest site, multiple things, people can find out where to go. Here's information for the category view. Once you click on the category, how's it going to be displayed? Images. Now this is really interesting and really important. What's the tool on your server that's going to be used to change and resize? Now there's no mouse over there, but it's going to be GD or ImageMagick. Those are two that are installed on my server and available. Your maximum file size that you're going to let someone upload for a picture. The big image width. Here's where you're just basically going to set all the different sizes as when a picture is uploaded and it's manipulated and presented in a certain way, what the minimums are going to be for those different sizes. You can even set a small image ratio, 1:1, which you know, a square, 2:3, 4:3, 16:9. And again, you can play around with this to get the look that you want. Preview image width, lots of things, gallery options, and a watermark here. You can put a watermark on things, images that are entered in contests. Video option, thumbnail width, all kinds of stuff. So that's a really important tab. Comments, again, what kind of comments, what tools are you going to use for commenting on contests or on entries? vk.com, Facebook, JComments, and then of course down here, basically your application IDs for those different commenting options. And the contest form, where you're going to show advanced options in the front end, and all of these apply to the front end because you can not only create a contest for your site, you can make your site a contest site, and people can log in the front end and create contests, and also can create and put their entries in. So that's where you control this contest form. Now, all right, so there's just a very brief and very quick overview of the many options that you have under options to set globally for this extension. So now let's move on and just create a contest. And I'm going to create the contest as we go along here. I've got a couple of pictures ready to upload. So let's first of all create a category here. And I'm going to say new, and let's make this a, got some messages coming in there. Let's make this a car. Let's just call it cars. Now I'm going to use a number of times here a little plugin from Regular Labs called Dummy Content, and basically it just allows me to quickly flesh out some fake words for an article. So I'm going to click Dummy Content down here. I want a paragraph. I'm just going to say 2 paragraphs, insert the content, and now I've just thrown some of that lorem ipsum in there for this car category. And if we want it, we could put an image in there, but I'm not going to in this case. There is no parent for this. There's no, for instance, this is not going to be a subcategory of another one. I'm just going to save and close that. Now that we have that category set up, we will next go to the contest, and we're going to create a contest. Now I'm going to say click new, and because I know what this contest is going to be, I'm going to call it orange or green. That's all we're going to call it. And again, here I am going to upload a picture for the description of this contest. I'm going to, now this editor here is JCE editor. It's not the default editor that comes with Jooma. So this might look a little bit different on your screen if you're not using JCE editor. I really like JCE editor. And there's a free version that is very powerful. This is the pro version, has some bells and whistles with it. But okay, I'm going to insert edit image, and I'm going to create, first of all, a new folder, which I will call contests. And of course, you could organize your folders for uploading images however you like. And so we now have contests. I'm going to go into there, and I'm going to upload an image. Now, I'm going to go browse, and here we have a picture of the road that I'm looking for already uploaded. So I will select that, go open, and in fact, I'm just going to rename that road. And I will go upload, And it's 640 by 420. I could have resized it there, but now I'll click on it and I'm going to give it an alignment of right, and going to put some space on the left side, and here we go, insert that image, and now it's there. It's quite big, so I'm just going to click back in there and we'll just change that so it's 300 wide. It's probably going to be too small, but that's all right. So I'm going to click outside of this and go Control Home, and let's put in some dummy content. Paragraphs, 2 paragraphs again, and we'll go insert the content. Oh, it didn't quite wrap, so I'm going to drag that up to the top there. Now it's wrapped. All right, we've got our contest set up. In fact, just in case that's too big, we'll do a read more. Save and close. Invalid field type. Oh, I didn't go through the options. Your publishing options, the created date, that's going to assume today's date. Meta description for your social, for your SEO, keywords, fields. You have to select at least one field. And let's see. Oh, the fields are not found. You can add the fields in the fields section. Okay, forgot to do that. I'm going to right click and open in that in a new tab. And did forget about fields. Basically, fields are things that you can add to a contest to get information, display information, or to get information. And I'm not going to go too far into those. That's sort of an advanced thing and beyond just a basic look here. But I will create a new field here, and I'm going to go with title. We will go title, label. We're going to give that, what's that label going to be? Let's mouse over here. Specify the label for the field. The label attribute. You know what? Let's just leave this as label so we can see where it shows up. A hint for when you mouse over the placeholder for the attribute. So I'm just going to type, this is a hint. And we can put a description for that. And class, we'll just leave these other things. Autofocus. All right. So I'm going to save and close that. I suspect at this point, when I go back here and go to select the field, it's not going to be there. And since I can't save this, I'm just going to go to the code view. I'm going to go Control A and copy. I'm going to cancel this. Now when I go new, now we'll type orange or, orange or green. Now we're in the code view. I'll go Control A and I'm going to paste what I copied. Now we've got that there. Now we can go to fields and we will select a title field. So every contest has to have a field for the entries, and I'll just go with title. All right, and we'll select the title, and there we go. Field type is title, and got that selected. Again, the fields is sort of an advanced thing. I haven't even looked much into it other than to just give things a title, but that's something that you could develop even more when you do this as a contest. All right, basic options. Again, we've already set up the global settings or reviewed them, and here's where you can override them. So let's say we're only going to allow a contestant can submit only one picture for the contest. I don't want to do that because I'm going to submit 2. So I'm basically going to leave this all the same because I liked what I saw in the global configuration, and I'm doing a very basic 2-option contest here. Layout options, we'll just leave that all global like it was. Images, I'm going to let it resize exactly how it was set in the global. So everything's set here. Now we should be able to save it. Save and close. Orange or green contest. Okay. Now, next, let's add some entries. We'll click on entries, and we're going to go new. And here we can create the first entry for the contest. Now, orange or green is already selected. It's the only contest that exists, so there's nothing else to select in the drop-down. The label, let's give it the label orange. And now we're going to choose a photo for this entry. Let's pick the orange Lamborghini. Next, we can do some cropping based on the dimensions that we've set for thumbnails and photos for this contest. Let's just slide this around and catch the front of that car. We're going to leave contestant blank. And we're going to not make this a Grand Prix, assign Grand Prix to this entry. Now, in these contests, Grand Prix status is basically given to one entry within the contest, and then that entry with the Grand Prix status will be displayed separately in the list of entries when the contest is set to be closed. Just read that off their site, so we won't put any description down here. But basically, we're just going to save and close this entry. Now, we could do save and new. Why don't we do that? Save and new. Because the next entry is going to be green. And we're going to choose a photo again, the green Lamborghini this time. Now, what's really great is that these pictures, as you can see, are different dimensions. But this resizing tool allows us to hold the format for our entries so the page doesn't get all messed up. So let's just show some of that part of the car. All right, and we'll do everything as it is. It's already it's going to be published. We're showing it as approved, and now we're going to save and close. So let's see how this is starting to shape up now. Let's go to the basicjoomla.com website, and you'll see over here I have a menu here demonstrating for Nor competition. Let's check competitions. Here's the one competition that we have as it's listed, orange or green. There's the picture we uploaded and the lorem ipsum words there. So we could click on that title to go see contest number 1, orange or green. We could go to categories down here in the link. And here's one category, the car category. Remember, we didn't put a picture on that. Well, we could even click on cars. Now we're back into the list of contests. Let's click on orange or green. And we are now presented with the description of the contest and 2 entries to vote on down below. Now, if you don't want this description to show, then there are changes that you can make in the global configuration for this extension, or also changes you can make in each contest. But basically what we have down here now is the option for me to, let's take a look at this orange Lamborghini. Now we have the full view of that picture that we had cropped before, and we can actually look at it full size as uploaded. And now we have the option to vote. So I click over here. Oh, it says I don't have permission to vote. And that's because when you first install Nor competition, the ability for anonymous people or for guests of the site to vote is turned off. I could vote if I log in, or I can change the settings globally for this contest or locally. Let's do it locally. We'll go back to the control panel here for Nor competition. We'll go to contests. We're going to go to orange or green, and we're going to go to a tab that we hadn't looked at in global settings, and that's permissions. And you'll notice this is the format of the access control list for Joomla, only now we're setting the access control for actions within Nor competition. So we want to change something for what guests can do, and we will go down. We'll see that guests right now are not allowed to vote, so we're going to allow them to vote. You see, you could also allow guests to edit their own contest, to create a contest, all sorts of things. You probably don't want to make that wide open, but it's all up to you depending on what you want to do with your site and permissions to give. But we're going to give permission for guests to vote. I'm going to save and close that. We'll go back to that entry, going to refresh, and you'll see that the voting button will now change to red. Now when I mouse over that, I can vote. And there we go. 1 vote has been registered. Now you also notice that underneath here it says you've reached the maximum allowed votes, 1 per entry. Now I can't vote anymore for this entry because that's the way it's set up. Of course, you go into the settings and you can change how often people can vote, how many times they can vote, all sorts of things. Lots of options available to you. Let's go back to the orange or green contest. And we can now look at the green. And we have an option to vote for the green, which you kind of think, well, with only 2 pictures, that's kind of ridiculous because people would just be voting both totals up, and that is ridiculous. So you might want to go and allow people only to vote once. Now, to have more control like that, you're probably going to have to require them to log in. But basically, as you can see here, this is just a basic contest that I'm setting up here in order to demonstrate this extension and also to review it. Now, you'll notice over here in the menu, there is a thing that says Submit App Form. Now, if I click on that, it's probably going to say that it's not allowed. I don't have permission to add an application to this contest. Now, here is, or to this site basically. Now, here, remember when I said that with translating to working on a better translation for the English, it was 99% done. You see this here? This should actually say Submit Entry Form. When we go into the back end of the site here, let's go to Menus, to the Nor Competition menu. You'll see there's 5 options, and the alias for Submit App Form is actually Entry Form. And what you would want to do if you're a native English speaker is go in here and just change App to Entry. It's one of the last places that the language file didn't get changed over, and I'm sure that when Eugene sees this, he'll make that change as he's watching this. I'm going to save and close that change. And we're going to refresh this page, and you'll see now here for the public menus, this submit an entry form is available for the public, but they're not allowed to in this contest. So really what I would do in this case is go to the submit entry form, and I would go into there, and I would make it for something that is registered so it doesn't show up. Now you would just have those 2 options in the menu there for Nor Competition. You can see the competitions and you can see the categories. In fact, competitions, you might actually want to change that to contests. Oh, there's another example of something that wasn't changed. Could change that just to contests. Very, very small subtleties here. Let's go contests. I'm sure Eugene will switch that over as well. And then that way people can see. And I did give this title for that module, Nor Competition Demo. I just have it there to see. You could have that say contest. But we can go to contests and we can go to categories. But now let me log in here to the front end of the site. And that's going to bring up all of the opportunities here. My applications, so that should be changed to entries as well. You can submit an entry form, and you can add a competition if those permissions are set up. So you're going to want to sync the settings of the extension itself with what menus are available. But they are there basic and stock. And like I said, you might want to just change what they say like you do with any menu. But basically, there's a quick overview. I don't know how quick it was. I think we're probably at about 20 or 25 minutes. A quick overview of NorrNext's competitions extension for Joomla. The support is excellent, like I said. In fact, even I paused here a couple of times because I needed to find a way to solve something I'd forgotten or didn't even know first. And I was searching on Google, and I went to the forums, and results came up. So that was really good. It's very usable. It's very complex, lots of options. But if you just settle in there, you'll figure it out, get it sorted out, whether you're putting one contest on, a bunch of contests, or you're making a site for people to add contests. And like I said, I really like this extension for contests because it is set up for contests. It has lots of features. And so I really highly recommend it, and encourage you, if you want to put a contest or run a contest on your site, or if you're running contests for a client on your site, or setting up a client for contests on their site, then definitely NorrNext's competition is a great extension. So by all means, if you have any comments about this video, you want to see more video reviews like this, please maybe even suggest some extensions you'd like to see reviewed, and I'll try to get that done, get those going in less than a year's time. And also, if you're going to get this extension, please use the link that's in the description for this video below. Like I said, it won't cost you anything extra. and it will help support this site because I will get a commission. And I like pro versions of extensions when it comes to needing something that is really unique and powerful for a Joomla site. And as far as contests go, this is the best one that I've seen, and so I think it's well worth the purchase. When you go to NorrNext's.com, you are going to also see, use the link below to get there, you are going to also see that there's a lot of modules and other tools available for NorrNext's competition extension. A carousel for displaying things that you vote on, and some other extensions for Joomla as well. So definitely worth checking out. I'm really impressed, like I said, with the support, with the design and the options and the setup and the tool tips and everything that's in the extension, and I really highly recommend it. I really enjoyed using it to get people to help me pick a font for my new business, and I'm happy to have access to it to run other contests besides just asking people if they want an orange Lamborghini or a green Lamborghini. So that's the end of that review. If you've watched right to the end, thank you very much. I appreciate your support for this channel. I think right now up to around 941 subscribers and growing. What would you like to see on this channel? Leave a comment below. And if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. It's encouraging, and it tells YouTube that there's good stuff here and will help other Joomla users that are searching for things to find the channel as well. If you do subscribe, ring that bell so you get notifications of new reviews, new tutorials, new live streams. We have a Maintenance Monday live stream every Monday. And finally, don't forget to head over to basicjoomla.com and enter a contest for our monthly giveaway. Ironically, I'm not using a NorrNext for that contest because I'm promoting some of the products, some of the extensions, the thing that are given away, and in that contest system, it's set up, which is not Joomla based, it's set up to point you to their social media. Anyway, so head on over to NorrNext competition, NorrNext.com, pick up a competition extension, and for all of your contest need. And thank you for watching. So until I see you next, enjoy your Joomla sites, and God bless.